You're watching a Highwire Media podcast. Almost Royal Rumble time, my friends. We're just a few weeks away. It's happening in February. The excitement is starting to build. Two big conversations have already kicked off, and today we're diving into both. Who do you want to win the Royal Rumble, and who should win the Royal Rumble? Let's be real for a second. If I had my way, Undertaker would win the 2025 Royal Rumble. But we all know that's not happening. So let's get serious and start with the Women's Rumble, because things are really heating up, and this year could get very interesting. If you spend as much time online as the rest of us in 2025, you've probably seen the rumors swirling. It looks like someone big is returning to WWE very soon, Charlotte Flair. And let me tell you, I'm excited about this. Charlotte essentially sat out all of 2024, and while there's always been a mixed reaction to her character, you can't deny her talent. Some people say she's overpushed, that she's had too many title reigns, or that she's won matches she maybe shouldn't have. Sure, I get those criticisms to a point, but if you take a step back and just watch her matches, Charlotte Flair is an absolute standout. She's incredibly talented, and any roster would be lucky to have her. Plus, Charlotte gets her character, especially when she's playing the villain. And that's exactly if I had the book, I'd bring her back at the Royal Rumble as a full-blown bad guy. Remember that picture she posted on social media? She looked like some kind of dark queen, or maybe an evil queen. And that's the vibe I'd lean into hard. Charlotte should come back arrogant, over the top, and constantly bragging about her credentials. That's the mark of a great heel. And yes, I think she should win. Here's why. Flair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania feels like the perfect match. It's fresh, it's different, it can go either way. Charlotte could win, and it would make sense. Tiffany could win, and it would still make sense. Either the way, there's a ton of storytelling potential there. The promos alone would be worth it. Tiffany has this larger-than-life, almost cartoonish energy, which works so well for her character, while Charlotte is much more intense and intimidating. Watching these two styles clash would be incredible. So to answer the question, should Flair win the Royal Rumble? Yes, absolutely. But she's not the only name we need to talk about. Let's move on to Becky Lynch. I've got a strong feeling Becky's coming back for this year's Rumble. Why? Well, WWE's already sold over 50,000 tickets, so it makes sense to load the card with as many big names as possible. On top of that, there have been rumors she was supposed to return on this week's Raw, or maybe next week's. Who knows? But when there's smoke, there's usually fire. A Becky Lynch return would be huge. Let's not forget there's been a couple of women rumbles over the years where we could use a little more excitement, whether that's in the form of better surprises or just bigger moments. Bringing back Becky and Charlotte in the same rumble, that's the kind of star power that makes the matches unforgettable. Now, would Becky win? It's possible, but I don't think we need another Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch match at WrestleMania. We saw that last year, and while it was great, it's time for something new. Becky does return before the Rumble, maybe they run Rhea versus Becky at the Rumble itself. Based on what we've seen recently, like Nia Jax and Bayley getting involved, I don't think that's the direction WWE is going. Becky is in a unique spot. She's one of those stars who has been around long enough to either be a hero or turn into a villain. And honestly, I think she takes way too much flack from the fans. She's a megastar. And WWE is better when she's in it. If she does win the Rumble, it'll be as a fan favorite babyface, which could work if it's done right. But let's not stop there. Another strong contender for this year's Rumble is Io Sky. Io has been on an absolute tear lately, putting on some of the best matches in WWE, and honestly, anywhere in the world. She's proven she can work with anyone and thrive in any situation. From her standout performance at War Games to her attempts at single titles, she's constantly impressed, even if she hasn't always come out on top. Right now, Liv Morgan is no longer in the title picture, which opens the door for something fresh. I think Io Sky versus Ripley at WrestleMania 41 could be a show stealer. Whether Io Sky wins the Rumble or earns her shot through the Elimination Chamber, the match would be fantastic. Here's the thing, not every title reign, needs to last forever. By WrestleMania, Rhea would have held her championship for about 4.5 months. That's plenty of time for a solid run. Io were to win, it would feel like a massive moment, even with the size and strength difference between her and Rhea. In fact, that difference can make the story even better. Io Sky has everything it takes to be a top star. She's on the cusp of breaking out in an even bigger way, and her recent shift to babyface has made her incredibly easy to root for. No one is going to boo Rhea Ripley, but a match where the crowd genuinely sympathizes with Io, that's money. And then, of course, we have Alexa Bliss. If Alexa returns at the Rumble, it would be a huge moment. She doesn't necessarily need to win to make an impact because her character work is so strong. Whether she comes back as original Alexa or the darker supernatural version with the whole Lily gimmick, she's always captivating. Here's the deal. Alexa doesn't have to win the Rumble to stay relevant. She could easily be eliminated in a meaningful way. Say, by starting a feud with someone mid-match and it would still work. But if she did win, that would be a massive statement. Finally, let's talk about one wild card. Roxanne Perez. I've been thinking about this idea for years and I stand by it. One of these days, WWE should pull the trigger on an NXT call-up winning the Rumble. Imagine Roxanne was showing up, winning the whole thing, and immediately being thrust into a WrestleMania title match. It would be bold, but if anyone can pull it off, it's her. So those are my main picks for the Women's Rumble. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, and Roxanne Perez. Each brings something different to the table, and honestly, I'd be thrilled with any of them winning. Now let's talk about the Men's Rumble, because honestly, this year's field feels wide open. There are so many potential winners, and it's anyone's guess which way WWE might go. So let's start with the biggest name of them all, Roman Reigns. Roman hasn't been in a Rumble match in 4 years, which feels crazy when you think about it. Yes, he's won one before, but his history with the Rumble has been, let's call it controversial. Fans have booed him out of the building more than once. Remember 2016 when the championship was on the line? Triple H tossed him out, and the crowd lost their minds cheering for it. But here's the thing. This isn't the big dog Roman anymore. This is the tribal chief, the head of the table. If Roman were to enter the Rumble now, the reaction would be completely different. And honestly, him winning isn't far-fetched. Think about it. Reigns enters the Rumble, immediately creates buzz. Is he going to face Cody Rhodes for the 3rd time at WrestleMania? Is he going to challenge Gunther if Gunther is a champion by then? What about Seth Rollins or even Punk? There are many different directions WWE could take with Roman winning. Now, do I think Roman is going to win the Rumble? Probably not. My guess is that someone from the Bloodline, or someone in the Bloodline 2.0, will screw him over. But he's absolutely in the conversation. And if WWE did decide to pull the trigger on Roman winning, no one would be shocked. Speaking of big names, let's talk about CM Punk. CM Punk is a guy I'm personally leaning towards for the win. Spoiler alert for when we do the official predictions, but let's face it, Punk has been on an incredible run since his return. He's defeated McIntyre and Seth Rollins, and he's one of the most over baby faces in the company right now. The reaction he got on the second Netflix era episode of Raw was absolutely insane. Here's why Punk makes sense as a Rumble winner. His story is practically writing itself. He's been vocal about wanting to headline WrestleMania and win the championship he's been chasing for so long. He was supposed to headline WrestleMania 40 last year before he got injured, so this feels like a chance to set things right. WWE has a golden opportunity to give Punk his moment. The Rumble is the perfect way to do it. Now, imagine Punk throwing Reigns out of the Rumble, setting up a potential showdown between the two at WrestleMania. Or, better yet, imagine Punk challenging Seth Rollins. The tension between them is already off the charts, and a Punk versus Rollins match for the title would be absolutely electric. Either way, Punk winning feels like a crowning moment that would send fans into a frenzy. And then there's John Cena. The story is right there. John Cena makes his big return. Cuts an emotional promo about he's going to win the Rumble, and then he does it. Who's going to be mad about that? Okay, maybe one guy in the back row, but ignore him. Cena winning the Rumble would set up some incredible possibilities, including a potential dream match with Cody Rhodes. Cody versus Cena at WrestleMania practically writes itself. It's a passing of the torch moment between two generational stars who have both changed the industry in their own ways. You could frame it as two babyfaces who respect each other but can't resist getting under each other's skin. There's so much real-life material they could draw from in their promos, and it would have that once-in-a-lifetime WrestleMania moment feel. But there's another way WWE could go with Cena. Have him lose. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. Cena's entire brand is built around the idea of never giving up. So imagine Cena comes back, enters the Rumble, and fails. That sets him up for an even bigger redemption arc, where he fights his way to a WrestleMania title match another way, maybe through the Elimination Chamber. Either way, Cena winning or losing the Rumble would have huge storytelling potential, and it keeps him firmly in the mix for WrestleMania season. Let's throw a few more names into the mix because, like I said, this year's Rumble feels wide open. Drew McIntyre is an interesting choice. If Drew were to win, it wouldn't feel out of place at all, especially if WWE moves him to SmackDown during the transfer window and makes him the top guy over there. Drew's been putting in the work, and a strong Rumble win would set him up perfectly for a major title run this year. Seth Rollins is another possibility. Now, I know Seth is already a champion, but imagine a scenario where he wins the Rumble and Punk finds another way to challenge him at WrestleMania. Seth versus Punk for the title on the grandest stage of them all, that's money. And let's not forget, there's still unfinished business between Seth and Roman. If Seth wins the Rumble, that could open the door for a Seth versus Roman match, which is a story WWE has been building for years. And another potential winner, Damian Priest. Priest has had an incredible 2024, and if WWE really wants to elevate him to the next level, a Rumble win would be the way to do it. Think about it. He's been a dominant force all year, and a victory at the Rumble would cement him as one of the top guys in the company. It's a long shot, sure, but not completely out of the question. And then, there's Gunther. If Gunther loses his championship before the Rumble, it wouldn't be shocking to see him enter the match and win the whole thing. Gunther has been a standout for years now, and a Rumble victory would set him up for a massive WrestleMania match, whether it's against Cody, Seth, or even Roman. You know what? I'll throw out one more wild card. Jey Uso. Jey has been on fire since breaking away from the Bloodline, and he's got an incredible amount of fan support right now. While I don't think WWE needs to push him to that level just yet, the potential is definitely there. If WWE really wanted to shock everyone, Jey winning the Rumble would be a great way to do it. So there you have it. Reigns, Punk, Cena, McIntyre, Rollins, Priest, Gunther, and Jey Uso are all legitimate contenders to win the 2025 Royal Rumble. There's no clear favorite this year, and that's what makes it so exciting. What do you think? Who should win the Rumble this year? Let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going. This is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable Royal Rumbles in years. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.